Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Review of Honor, where we are covering everything that happens in a Ring of Honor ring. And we are now another week removed from the Pure Title Tournament, and things are starting to heat up as we start to figure out who is going to be our challengers for our champions. We received an announcement that we're going to be having Final Battle in December, right on schedule. And in order to have matches at Final Battle, we gotta have feuds and we gotta have people coming after championships. And here, and here to break everything down with me is the three-time Baby Making Champion, the Round Table Rebel. This is Ness. Ness, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fine, Yes, I am the Baby Making Champion. No, I do not have my championship with me. I think I'd give it a break for once. It's been a while that, the people haven't actually seen my face without the shades and without the title. But, man, I'm here. This was a good episode of Ring of Honor, in my opinion. And we're just going to run it down, see if anybody else agrees and enjoys it just as much as we did.
Yes, guys, and as always, you can comment, share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already, and tell us your opinions about this episode of Ring of Honor and previous episodes and where you think certain programs, certain feuds are going to be going. We're all ears. We're all eyes, I guess, since we'll be reading the comments. But we are here to get your feedback and see what you guys think as well when it comes to Ring of Honor. So let's get straight into it, guys. We have two matches tonight. We have first, some nice tag team action. We have the Briscoes taking on SOS, and this is a pretty good match. These are two guys who were part of Shane Taylor Promotions. They were part of that six-man tag match with Shane Taylor up against the Briscoes and EC3. The Briscoes, we know who they are. They are the 11-time champion. But what's interesting about this match, even outside of just the in-ring stuff, is the fact that we have EC3 on commentary, giving his opinion and speaking very slowly in a monotone voice, using diction and vocabulary that might be above someone's understanding. Because he's here in Ring of Honor to find someone who is honorable. And after he watches the Briscoes defeat SOS in just under 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 41 seconds, he will leave commentary and stand in the entrance ramp as the Briscoes walk by. Last week they were on the same side. This week it seems there may be some tension. I thought it was a pretty good tag match. I thought it was good, hard-hitting action. The Briscoes do what they need to do. SOS did what they need to do. I gave this one about 2.5 stars. Ness, what did you think about the match and EC3 on commentary?
Oh yeah, EC3 on commentary. That was interesting, to say the least. See, I like that. He's just like interjecting himself in the Ring of Honor, especially going at not say going at, but with Jay Briscoe. 11-time tag team champion, multi-time world champion, all the accolades that you can get. So with EC3 trying to make his mark in Ring of Honor, that's he's starting at the top.
Yeah.
So that was a good idea, guys. I really didn't pay any attention to them before until, now that we were reviewing and I'm watching and taking everything in. These guys are a nice tandem. And they seem to fit well with Shane Taylor as himself. These power guys. Well, Moses is more so the power guy, and Khan, he's a little bit of the more agile guy. But they matched up pretty well with the Briscoes. And I like the fact that the Briscoes actually came out and got this win, because it actually, in my opinion, furthers the story about, the whole EC3. Last week they teamed with EC3. They lost. This week is just the Briscoes, and they win. So, and then the after post-match antics. And the irony of all that, Mark Briscoe is the voice of reason here. Crazy ass Mark Briscoe. And he's just like, I'm just listening to him the whole time. He's just like, no, man, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
He looks lost. Let's just keep moving. Let's keep moving. Don't worry about it. And I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. Because any other time, Mark Briscoe's ready to jump off the deep end, and like right now he's just like trying to have the most logic in the world, and then Jay's just like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Like, what's he doing? What's he doing out here? You know, which leads to, you know, him challenging EC3 for the next week's episode. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for that, because it just seems like the storylines are coming together. Everything's building up now that they're back from, you know, post pandemic and, well, so to speak, and post pure title tournament. Now they're really starting to work into the stories and trying to build more for the viewers. So I really like where everything is going.
Yeah, I like that they kept reminding us throughout the match on commentary that the Briscoes have, as I said, in their back pocket, a way to challenge for the tag titles. And I think that's really interesting because you have a kind of built-in match for the Briscoes and Lethal and Gresham for the tag titles. And those are four guys who don't necessarily need a crazy long feud in order to get us a match, particularly a match worthy enough to be at Final Battle. For those who are newer to Ring of Honor or newish to Ring of Honor, Final Battle is basically Ring of Honor's like WrestleMania of sorts. So to have big matches at Final Battle, that's what they build towards. That's what everything's kind of geared towards. So this would be a match that they don't necessarily need to have crazy build towards to get to. These are 11-time tag champions trying to get the tag titles for a 12th time, and you have the foundation now standing against them. So I think that's kind of an interesting thing. I'm looking forward to that EC3 Jay Briscoe match next week for sure. Yeah. But one match that we're also going to be getting next week, speaking of next week and also builds, is Matt Taven versus Bateman. Now, they do some promo videos for this match next. They are going kind of back and forth. It seemed a little weird. Bateman, I mean, I guess because he's the heel, he's allowed to not make sense with some of the things that he's saying. But he's asking Matt Taven why Matt Taven would attack somebody from behind when Matt Taven only jumped Vinny because Vinny jumped him first.
Exactly.
But I mean, I guess, you know, in the heel's mind, like, how dare you touch Vincent? But this match is, I guess, kind of a stepping stone for Taven to get to Vincent once again, and it'll kind of be interesting because of how long this layoff for Ring of Honor has been. If they have a match between the two of them at Final Battle, it will be the first time that they had a match against each other since Final Battle. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that next week. After this, we have a interview segment with Quinn McKay talking to the Briscoes, as Ness alluded to earlier. Jay Briscoe issues a challenge to EC3 for a match for next week, and they talk about how they are interested in going after the tag titles. Now, that leads us to our main event, and this is, I really like this match just because of the way the promo videos told the story that was being told in the ring, the fact that Shane Taylor kept saying 3 times the charm before the match started. But I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. This is Shane Taylor versus Kenny King, and this is a big main event. These are two guys who've known each other for a very long time. I really enjoyed the match. I gave it a 3 stars just off of how hard Shane Taylor was beating the life out of Kenny King, and how well Kenny King was selling just the brutality of the moves. And when you have Shane Taylor, a guy who is the size that he is, but can also move at the speed that he can move, it's devastating, and it's hard to keep up. It's hard to go pound for pound with him, blow for blow with him. So the fact, even despite Kenny King losing this match, to me, I'm now thinking about, wow, Kenny King is still up to a win. It's still 2-1 in Kenny King's favor. That's incredible. Ness, what did you think about this match, this main event?
Oh man, like overall, I gave the match and the story itself, I gave it a 3.5. Going from the promo videos, watching, you know, I'll start with Kenny King. Kenny King, being cocky. I won't say that taking Shane Taylor lightly, but he was already going into the match with the mindset that he already got the win. Yeah. Shane Taylor, he just, he's like, look, man, I don't know. He sort of shed like the heel persona that he had for a little bit, and you got to like really kind of understand who Shane Taylor is. And they talked about their relationship. They were together in the stable Rebellion, and like that he sees Kenny King as like a big brother to him. That he's like, look, man, for me to get to this next step, I have to get this win here. I can't take a third straight loss against Kenny King. But then, the match starts. He doesn't adhere to the code of honor, spits at him. He's just like, Shane Taylor's just like going in super focused on another, like on a whole. His mind was somewhere completely else. And again, Kenny King just being Kenny King, like, oh, I got this in the bag. And he did not have this in the bag. Whatsoever. No, he did not. Whatsoever. Shane Taylor was hitting him with the stiffest strikes. Oh my God. And the first punch, I had to rewind it because I couldn't believe it. Like, and it was late when I'm watching it. All I do is yell out, holy shit. It caught me off guard, and then he does it like another 5 or 6 times throughout the match, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is brutal. This is some physical shit.
The only person more surprised by you at how hard how hard Shane Taylor was hitting Kenny King was Caprice Coleman. Oh God.
Yeah, and it was funny because he even alluded to that too. He's like, man, yeah. I would, if I'm facing Kenny, he wouldn't hit me with those strikes. And I feel as though if I'm facing Shane, he wouldn't hit me with those strikes either. And like, as soon as he says that, Shane punches him right in the face. Right again. He's like, oh, well, maybe he would. I don't know. So, but like, yeah, man, the story of just like Shane Taylor trying to overcome, this hurdle of facing Kenny King and then just like going out and doing it with a chip on his shoulder. Like it. I really got to commend Ring of Honor where they're not so much like wacky story driven, but they're putting a lot of real life and real life relationships and these talents, their history. Well, not even just, themselves, but if they have history with their opponents and anybody else that's involved in these matches and what have you, they're really playing that into the story going into these matches with the promos, the content of the match, the guys talking to each other. Kenny's just like, yeah, little bro, you're not gonna get this time. Like that adds a little extra something to it. So again, I gave the match 3.5 stars. Everything overall just wowed me, and this was like a really, really huge win for Shane Taylor. I hope that it puts him in, because now he's vying for a spot to go at Roosh. Kenny King's live faction. I can't even say that. I can't even say it. I don't say it like that. Yeah, I couldn't get it out. But yeah, he's aiming at Roosh now, which would make sense. He already had the TV title. I don't see that. It would make sense, I guess, to go back at it. But why go back to the TV title when you can aim at the top and go for the ROH World Championship? So I want to if I would love to see this, I would love to see this Shane Taylor versus Roosh if we can get that, because that was a great showing.
That's what's kind of interesting. They were talking about all the different people at play for a potential title shot against Roosh for the world title. They were talking about Vincent having beaten Matt Taven already, and Matt Taven's a former world champion. They talked about Shane Taylor. I forget who the third person was that they brought up, or I think it might have just been EC3 himself, potentially going after Roosh.
And I'm probably Brody King, because he got a win.
That was it. That was Brody King. Again, he's now pinned Dalton Castle, former world champion. Now Shane Taylor didn't pin a former world champion, but he did pin somebody from Roosh's faction. So the way that they are telling this overall story of Ring of Honor coming out of the shadows, out of the darkness of the pandemic has been pretty incredible. And they are just building upon this because next week will be the first week that we have 3 matches. It's been some time since we've had 3 matches, so we'll be able to see more and more of how Ring of Honor is starting to expand back to a full TV schedule. No, I don't think we have any word yet on whether or not they're going to try to have any live audiences or anything like that, similar to how WWE and AEW does. Those 2 companies have the luxury of having a much larger roster, and that's something else that I wanted to that I was thinking of while the tag match was happening. Was Ring of Honor is doing a really good job of, however limited the talent pool that they have, of putting on quality matches and quality stories with that. To anybody just going, oh well, I mean, I just saw the Briscoes and EC3 versus Shane Taylor Promotions. Why would I want to see the Briscoes versus SLS just by themselves? Ness, you hit it right on the head. The Briscoes with EC3 lost. The Briscoes by themselves, as a tag team, as a cohesive unit, they win. So ROH is telling really great stories. I like what they're doing, and we will have to see where they are going with this. Do you have any way too early, I guess, predictions for who Roosh will be defending the world title against, or who would you like to see him? I guess that's the better question. Who would you like to see?
Oh man, who would I like to see? I don't know. I want to give it another week or so before.
All right.
At this point, it would be Shane Taylor. That's pretty much the best singles showing that I've seen from someone so far. Of he had the tenacity, the drive, the whole determination of wanting to overcome an obstacle and going after any championship is a major obstacle in itself. Not taking anything away from Brody King and anybody else that have gotten a victory, but yeah, just so far, Shane Taylor has definitely shown that fire that you need to bring to go against a world champion. It's definitely, especially someone like Roosh. So at the moment, Shane Taylor, definitely for sure. I would like to see him versus Roosh.
I would agree with that. Shane Taylor Promotions and the Foundation are the backbone of Ring of Honor when it comes to this coming out of the pandemic episodes. And when we talk about the next episode next week, guys, we hope you are with us. But until then, Ness, tell the people where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram at skinny__Kravitz, on Twitter at skinny_Kravitz, and on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, because I'm on everybody's shows. Round Table Rebel. I come off the bench, 6th man of the True Hill Heat team.
This guy with the nicknames just singing.
Yeah, I just got bored one day. I was like, I'm just gonna come up with all these nicknames. But the thing is, now I gotta live by them. So
yeah, you're turning into the man of 1,004 nicknames.
You're the man of 1,004 numbers. So hey.
That's why this works. That's why this works. Guys, you can find me, as always, covering everything that happens on Tuesdays on Dark Power, and lurking and answering with you guys and getting into needless arguments on the Facebook page, True Heels. And until next time, guys, on behalf of the Stat King and the three-time Baby Making Champ Ness, we will catch you guys later. Peace.